Good morning all, we thought we would do another video for you today. We're going to be using some of our brand new releases, so let's have a look at what we're going to be using. I'll just take that one off as well there so we can see. So we've got the birthday cake, which was from our previous release, so not this last one, the one before, and we're just actually going to be using the happy birthday sentiment on here. It's quite a nice size sentiment that works quite well with the card we're going to do. We're also using the matrix stamp set. Now obviously this does have some sentiments on, but they're quite small. They're designed to fit inside this little cloudy piece here. So I wanted something with a bit more of a statement for this one, so we're going to mix and match. We're predominantly using this stamp here today. We're also using our illusion stamp stencil, sorry. This is proving to be really popular. The new release stencils have all been flying out, so thank you all very much. I'm glad you're loving them. We're also going to be using, as normal, our Honeydew Craft sticky glue that comes in the 120mm and the 30mm. Something else that you don't often see me use is a punch. I've had this punch for years and years and years, and it's my go-to all the time. They're available on our website. I think they're $13.99. And with this one, you get it's a banner punch, so you just get this little. Let me grab one to show you. The little V chopped out, but my goodness, it saves hours and hours and hours of hassle for me anyway. So it cuts 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch and a 2 inch. So sometimes it's not quite the right size you want, but you can balance it and you can get it to work in here pretty much any size up to, as I say, the 2.5 inch. So that as well. We're also going to use, but I've already pre-die cut these, a couple of circles just for the layering. And as everybody asks me all the time, we do have a few of these left in stock at the moment, but more on order. Our foam squares, they're 1,600 foam squares on a roll. They're 25mm by 25mm by 2mm thick. And then we are also using our Make Art Station. If you haven't seen us use this, oh sorry, I've got my one underneath here and it's attached into the box one. If you haven't seen me use this, it is an absolute godsend when it comes to doing stencils. Saves hours on faffing with the stencil tape. So that's all the bits and pieces we're going to use today. There are a few bits to cut out on this one. So as per normal, we're working with an 8x8 card. So just an 8x8 card. You can do it as a tent fold, or so we're opening up that way, or you can do it as a normal card. The choice is yours. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got 2 die cut circles, one in black and one in white. I've just taken this sort of next size down for the layering. We have, I told you there's lots of bits and pieces today. So we have a black and a white rectangle. The white is 4 3/4 by 7 1/4, and the black layer piece is 5 by 7 1/2. So everything's sort of 1/4 inch, sorry, 1/4 inch bigger. We are also using, now I've done, as I said, some of this ahead of time. So we have got some stuff layered, or some banners cut out ready for layering. So I've already cut and stuck this one just because it saves. I can show you how we're doing this with another one, but it just saves some time as we're making the video. As you can see, they are literally done so that we can just layer them up here. We're actually hiding the back ends of these, so it doesn't matter if they're not a perfect match. It's a great way of using up some of your old offcuts of bits of white cardstock, bits of black cardstock. Perfect for this. So I'll show you how these work. So we've just got the punch, and literally we're just going to slide that in here, push it up till it butts up. It's got little grooves that these slot into, and we're going to push it down, and we're done. See? How many hours have you spent measuring, cutting, doing all of that messing around? So I love my little punch. As I say, it's my one of the few punches I still use. I know punches were out forever. They were a real big thing to start with when I first started paper crafting. That was quite a long time ago, I have to say. But sorry, I know you're getting my arm in the way at the moment, but I'm just getting all my pieces ready so that we can get started. So we're going to start. I've actually got my Make Art Station tucked underneath my mat here because I'm going to be doing some blending, and it just saves me having to clean this because it's on my mat. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, I'm also using Distress Oxides. I've got my favourite colours, Twisted Citron, Picked Raspberry, Spun Sugar today. So we'll pop those off to one side. Right, as I said, I'm working on my Make Art Station with my stencils. So we're just going to take the rectangular piece, I'm going to take my stencil and I'm going to put it lengthways. Now I would quite like, and because my mat's very well used, I can actually see through and see the lines underneath. So I can line that up and I can make sure my stencil is straight. As I say, it doesn't matter if it's not, it's no biggie, but that's just me, I'm a bit like that. I like things to be where they're supposed to be. I'm going to line those up, just going to pop this down to hold it in place, and we're going to take the spun sugar and the blending tool. I'm going to load the brush up. Now I'm not going to press really hard on this, and we're just going to work our way through. Now I'm going in a straight line down the middle, and it will probably fade out a little towards the sides. I'll decide when I get there. So just work that through the stencil. I might go the other way, I might make it heavier out towards the sides. We'll decide. I managed to move that, that's not very good. There we go. So I'm just going to swap that over so that my stencil stays in place, but I can get right to the edge of my image, and then I can pop that back over there. But so much easier, so much quicker than using the tape. I love these. This board has been an absolute godsend to me. So we're just going to keep blending until we're happy with what we've got. And I don't think I ever really decided whether I was going to get darker or lighter out to the edges. We'll just see what it looks like when it comes off. Put that back in place. And then I'm just going to make sure I've covered everywhere. The light is bouncing off the stencil for me a little bit here from this angle, so I'm not really 100% sure that I've covered everywhere, but we'll go with it and hope for the best. Done. So that's our stencil piece. I'm just going to quickly wipe over this because we're going to be using it with a green in a little while, and I don't want to mix and match the two colours. So leave that over there to dry out away. So that's that piece, and then I'm just going to grab my picked raspberry, and I'm not reloading my brush. I'm just going to go around the edges. It's not a brush at all, is it? Blending tool. I'm just going to go around the edges with what ink is actually on the sponge, just to add a little bit of interest to it. You'll be amazed at how much ink just stays in these sponges. You think you've used it all, but you haven't. So there we go, that's our base. And as you all know, I always, if possible, layer up as I go because it reduces the amount of cardstock I have loose on the table. Less to lose while I'm filming, and I found it works really well when I'm making my cards. Saves me hours chasing stuff. I'm normally that one that's got a pair of scissors in my hand that I'm looking for. So just have a little bit of wiggle room there and whip that off because it's a bit too high up there. And there we go. So that's 2 becomes 1. Pop that off to one side. I'm also going to just go in and show you what we do with the tags or the banners. So the pink one I'm going to make completely solid, or sorry, the smaller one I'm going to make completely solid. So we're going to use the spun sugar, and I'm just going to drag that across. Now my spun sugar is quite dry, it needs a refill on there I think. So I'm just going to drag that across. Don't really want my fingers on there because it's still quite wet, so just take a piece of kitchen paper. And as I've said, you're not going to see the back end of this, so you don't have to go all the way along if you don't want to. That's just me. And so that's all you have to do. And remember that little trick I've told you before, go in with your sponge, pick up as much of that excess ink that's on your mat on the end of your sponge before you wipe it down. Saves you, or if you want to, just spritz it and make a background paper with it. But if I haven't got time to do that, I'll just whip that over there. So we'll end up with our plain pink tag, and I'm going to stencil this one with the Illusion stencil again to try and get that straight-ish, she says. There, I reckon. That'll do. So we'll take Twisted Citron. So really easy, just straight over the top, no faffing, straight in. As I said, this magnetic board has been a complete game changer for me as far as stenciling goes. I love it, makes it so easy. So there we have our Illusion tag as well. There we go, that's a better view of it. Just wipe that off and pop that off to one side. I apologise if I'm a bit sniffly. I have really bad hay fever today, and there's absolutely nothing I can do to stop this, and it's not great when you're looking down. So I apologise for that. So we're now going to go in, actually we'll stick our tags together, and then that's that job done as well, isn't it? Here we go. So we're going to stick these on here. As I said, it doesn't matter if they stick out at the back because we're going to hide everything. So use this for all your... I'm going to go with the lighter colour. So as you can see, this is one I did earlier, and I liked it better with the light pink. So don't waste it. Just flip it over and use the other side, as I did. Now it's the tag, the cutout piece you want to get right. Don't worry about your back end, it doesn't matter. But you want this to be as near to the middle as you can get it, she says. And that's the nice thing about using the wet glue, you've got a little bit of wiggle room to get that right. And see, I tried it with a grey and I didn't like it. So we'll use the other side. There we go. So that's the 3 banners done. And we're going to position them kind of like, we'll worry about that when we put it together, I think. So that's the hardest part done. We're then going to take our round circle and the the matrix stamp. I'm just going to put my magnets up here out of the way. The matrix stamp. Picked raspberry ink. Now as you can see, my matrix stamp is very well loved already, and we've only just released these. So we have a lovely pink stained matrix stamp. It's a big stamp, so spend the time, and particularly if you're using Oxides, remember the centre of Oxides tends to have a little well in it for some reason. I think it's because that's where we all go in all the time with our blending sponges and stuff. So work it round, and remember it's a square ink pad, so try and not get those square lines of ink coming through. I think we're there, I think, she says. And you know what, I've missed a stage. Hang on in there a second. I'm going to pop that to one side. I need to stencil my circle, which is not much good as my stencil's disappeared. Here we go. I'm stenciling my circle before I stamp the image. I'm just going to pick up the edges. Now when I stencil this, I'm doing it with Twisted Citron, and I'm not going to reload my blending sponge. I'm going to start in the middle start a little bit darker, and I'm doing this in complete circles and just going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but without adding any ink to the sponge. And as we get out to the edges, I'm just going to bring that in and just lightly go around the edges. I don't want it heavy around the edge. There we go. Perfect. Back to inking our stamp. I kept thinking that looks wrong. I've missed something. Never mind. So we've inked our stamp. It is a big stamp, remember everybody, it's a big stamp. So be prepared when you do this. Roughly in the middle, pop it down and give it a good old push down. Now I have a feeling I might have had that down before I realised I had it down, so we might have had a smudge. So it's a good job I've got one I did earlier to hand. Plenty of pressure all over. Oh no, we rescued. So we're going to end up with something like this. And we are going to layer that up straight onto our circle. There we go. So that's all our components done. Now all we need to do is pop this all together. So we get just work out roughly. I'm going to pop some foam pads on the back of this because I want a little bit of dimension on some of this. But I actually want quite a bit of dimension on this piece. So I'm going to double up my foam pads on this one. Actually, maybe I'm not. Ignore me. I'm not going to double them up. I was just thinking that means I can pop that to one side. I'm going to stick this down. We might go back and double it. I'm just going to have a look and see before I make that decision. And I'm going to stamp my happy birthday up in the top corner here. I think we will go with some twisted citron for that, for a change. So before you start adding everything in, make sure you get that sentiment on there. But I always make sure I pop that. Oh, that didn't go on straight. That moved just as I put it down. Oh well. I always put this piece down first and then pop my sentiment. You can just make that sentiment out. There you go. In fact, I am going to. That doesn't show up very strong on the camera, so I'm going to go back in with some pink and offset it. That might look awful. It's got two choices, isn't it? But just so that it stands out a little better. You might get my head in it for a minute. Sorry, peeps. Ish. There we go. Not sure I'm particularly happy with that, but it is what it is. We are then going to pop these on here. This makes a really cool teenager's birthday card. That sort of thing are really awkward ones to make. but I want some dimension on these, which is why I was thinking maybe we shouldn't. So I'm going to pop this one straight down. In the position. And then I'm going to pop this one with some foam squares behind it. I don't know about where you all are today, but today we're filming this video and it's about 33 degrees outside, so it's a little warm, which for us here in England is very warm. So I'm struggling a little bit with the hay fever, which is we're a bit too lined up there. Can you see I'm lined up with my stencil piece underneath? I don't want that, so we'll just move that over a little bit. And then this only needs foam pads on one side, sort of along the edge there. So I'm going to take those fairly close into the edge. Otherwise it would just be so thick. And I've put them on the wrong edge. Oh dear, good grief, what am I doing today? See, we're not perfect. There we go. You were probably all thinking and shouting at the screen, that's the wrong side. So there, that's those pieces done. And now we're going to put this on. Part of this may need double. That way or that way? I think that way. And on these two, I'm going to add in some extra to give it the lift, because obviously we've got to fight against the fact that these two pieces have got foam on as well. So this one and this one. By putting this glue on, as you know, it gives you a couple of seconds of wiggle room to get that where you want it to be. And voila, there we go. So there we have. Oh, I wonder, can you see that we've got the little corner there? So I'm hoping I've still got just enough wiggle room. We have to hide that up. There we go. Much happier with that like that. So there we have our happy birthday using our matrix stamp. As I say, ideal for teenagers, depending on what colours you do, or you can do whatever colours you want, but you know what I mean. Tends to be pink for girls, blue for boys, which is not right, but it is. And if you pop on our website, you'll see another version of this done in blues and yellows, and looks really good. So this is what we've been using. So we've used the matrix stamp, the illusion stencil, the birthday cake stamp, and the Make Art Station to hold our stencils in place. Have a nosy at a couple of other cards that have been made with this stencil, with this stamp, sorry. So this one has got the matrix stamp in the background. It's got the birthday sentiment there on there, which is from the Frame Me stamp set, and those flowers are from Flowers in the Garden. This is another card similar to the version I was telling you about this, for this card that we've just made. It's done in the same sort of colours. So we've got the matrix stamp on there, we've got the encircled dot stencil in the background, and we have also got the mesh, no sorry not mesh, mosaic stencil in the background on that one. Excuse me. Another one which is completely different, using the matrix stamp and the Floral Enchantment flowers. So as I said previously, with the matrix stamp, you can see that the words just fit inside that balloon, or sorry, inside that cloud really well. Some of you may have seen me make this particular card on Create and Craft. So this one is using the Happy Birthday stamp from the birthday cake, the matrix stamp set that the particular stamp from the set that we've just used, Also got the dot dot and extra line stamp sets on there as well. They're really popular, those ones. And this is the matrix again, looking completely different. And the sentiment again is from the Frame Me collection of stamps. And then we have the matrix, really clean, simple, stamped with black ink, crystal clear embossing powder over the top. And again, the flowers are from the Flowers in My Garden. And I think this is really cute. This one's actually a C6 card. Excuse me. And again, clean, simple, really easy to do. Just a blended strip down the middle. And I think that's all of those we've got to show you. So let's just pop back and show you what we have used today. Let me just grab them. So we had the Illusion Stencil, the Matrix stamp set, and the birthday sentiments from the birthday cake stamp set. We also used this fab little punch, a banner punch, and it does 1.5, 2.5 and 2 inch stamps, banner bunches. We used the Make Art Station. We used the die cut circles, and the inks we used were Spun Sugar, Twisted Citron and Picked Raspberry. And under here somewhere, let me grab it, is our finished sample. So I hope you enjoyed it. If anybody's got any questions or anything they would like to ask us, or any particular demonstration they'd like to see, please just email us or contact us via Facebook. Our email is honeydewcrafts@gmail.com. Anyway, have a lovely weekend. Speak to you all soon. Bye.